Welcome back to another episode. I am Sticks. This is my best friend and co-host D'Lo, and we are too complex.
Too
It's the
complex.
first
No,
one.
no.
Too,
So you're not gonna go
too
with the
complex.
part of my wisdom?
Well, I
We
mean,
officially
the
change the
part, the
name.
part of my wisdom is still there. It's still a part of us,
Yeah.
but I think it's time that we go ahead and hit the too complex on these folks. You feel me?
Okay. All
Hit the
right.
too
Too
complex on these
complex
folks,
it
but
is.
too complex it is. So
Still got
before
some
we
work
get
to
into the,
do, but we there.
no, for sure.
Yeah.
But before we get into the topics, which we got some really good topics, some inspirational stuff, but also some controversy. But make
Mhm.
sure you hit that subscribe button. You like the video, comment on the video because we will reply to y'all, and also hit that bell so that way you don't miss none of these bangers that we got
You
coming
threw
for
me off
y'all.
there. You threw me off.
that we
Okay. I
that we
bet.
got
I like
coming for
it.
y'all. But just we love all y'all. We appreciate all the support. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to grow. So make sure you do all those things for us so that way we can keep bringing this content to y'all. So D'Lo, of course, man, that we say every single week. How was your week last week, my brother?
I'm gonna see if I can switch it up this week.
Oh, snap.
I'm
Let
just
me find
I'm just
out.
out here. I'm just out here trying to enjoy life, man. But still
I
spending
like
time with
it.
the family. But still spending time with the
For
family.
sure.
You know
For
what I'm
sure.
saying? Just out here trying to enjoy life, man. With make do with what I got and enjoy the time that I can with my family, man, because they really are what is most important out of all of this.
Mhm.
Catch up on the shows that I can catch up on, currently watching or catching up on Bel Air,
Like it.
anticipating and love it.
Love it.
Let's get into that real quick before
It
we.
was an amazing
So
show, bro.
I like Bel Air, but when it first came out, people was like dogging it because it was taking away the nostalgia of the
The
original
original.
Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
Mhm.
But I like the show, man. It's pretty good.
The
So
more you
yeah,
get
that's what.
into it, man, the better that show gets, bro. I'm telling you. Like I
Yeah,
was a huge fan of the original. I literally had it on DVD, like all 6 seasons on DVD of the original.
right.
But when that one came out, I was kind of skeptical. But it's like, dog, that joint, it's like the new age is fire, dog. Like I
Yeah,
mess
yeah.
with it. Whenever you get done with season 1, let me know so we can start watching season 2.
Well, I'm done with season 1. I'm on season 2 right
Oh,
now. Yeah,
what? I told you to tell me, fool.
man, my bad. But anyway, yeah. So that's what I'm currently watching. That waiting for Power 2 to come out,
I ain't
and
really.
then the new season, and then also Succession. I'm big on Succession on HBO. So
Hmm.
those are the things that I'm currently doing. What about you, my boy? What's going on? How you been?
Man, listen, man, it's a lot of the same, man. Same thing you always say, spending time with your family. I'm just working and making sure Sam taken care of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the new promotion is taking up a lot of my time, but I love it though because it's
Hmm.
it's a new pace. It's something different that is. I'm away from the monotony of just selling cars every day. Now I'm trying to help people sell cars and help people buy cars. So I'm in finance now. So it's so much better, bro. Like before I know it, I look up, I get there at 9 o'clock. Before I know it, I'm looking at the clock. It's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, where the hell did the day go? But it's a good thing because time fly when you're having fun, man. So I'm enjoying the
Yeah.
new position. It has energized my career for real, and it's definitely given me a lot to look forward to as far as my career and as far as this right here is concerned. Because
Yeah.
the more money you make, the more time you got to do hobbies that you like. So I like that. I like that. So
Sometimes.
it's some well, true. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Look,
mean
before we
that's
get into.
basically it with me.
But yeah.
That's
Okay.
basically it with me though. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Look, before we get into it, man, I got a question to ask you, and we're not talking about it today, or I don't think we're gonna talk about it. Period. But I'm interested to hear your thoughts real quick on this whole debate that's taking over the internet right now, at least in Black culture, is the Michael B. Jordan and him being corny thing that's going on right now. What's your take on not Michael B. Jordan, but what's your take on the word corny? Because for me, I might be considered. I can see if people would call me corny. I can see how they would call me corny. But what's your take on it? I think it's a word that's blown out of proportion, honestly,
I
and
mean,
it's a misconception.
to be honest, the word corny is corny, if that
Yeah,
makes any sense. Because it's like outside of the big screen, Michael B. Jordan is a normal dude. Like, why can't somebody normal not just be a regular person? You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like, but from what I remember from the controversy itself is that she was saying that he was corny when they went to school together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They went to high school together, and she said he was just like he was corny. He was annoying. He was like I guess a lame. I guess whatever that means. You know,
Yeah.
lame, corny. I guess it all mean the same shit. But
Right.
I mean, just a normal cat. I mean, I could be considered corny. I don't do nothing either. Like I'm corny too.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. So I
Yeah.
mean, if he corny, I'm corny. You know what I'm saying? Everybody
Yeah.
got some kind of corniness to him. She corny for saying the corny
100%.
shit. Like you know what I'm saying? So like if he corny then shit, everybody corny. I don't. To me, it don't make a difference. I thought it was whack. I thought she was corny for saying it. I like him for calling her out though. Oh, the dude you call corny, huh? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I
Yeah.
thought he
I
was.
don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I don't know if I like either ways. I don't know if I like her publicly saying that he was corny for what he did back in high school. I mean, or back in school. I don't know if it was high school or what, but and I
hmm
also kind of don't. But I'm not too confrontational either. So, but
yeah, facts.
I I I don't know if I would have said something to her, but maybe not in the interview that he was doing. But he probably didn't really know she was. I don't know. I don't know what he knew or what he didn't know. But
hmm
I just think the word corny, and then for the reasons that people outside of the young lady that said he was corny back in high school and the individuals that say he's corny today, I
hmm
think I think their reasonings for him being corny is lame, is whack. They say he's corny because he's a good dude. He's corny because he takes care of responsibilities and stuff like that. Or how he acted after Lori Harvey dumped him. It made him corny. What? Okay. I mean, if
So
that's corny,
I seen
it's a
something that
lost cause.
said yeah, he just looked like a guy that knows where his birth certificate is. Shut up.
Yeah. But anyway, we going too far into. I just want to
Nah,
know your
facts.
thoughts on that real quick.
The word corny is corny. They all corny. We all corny. Who gives a fuck? Honestly,
Yeah.
whatever. Fuck them. But anyway, what we got on the docket today, my boy D-Lo?
Man, what we got on the docket? We're gonna talk about John Morant and his legal issues. We'll talk about the threat of artificial intelligence on music and society as a whole. We'll get
hmm
into an inspirational story of Hansel Dominguez, and then we'll talk about Coach Prime and his recent recruiting controversies.
Yes, sir. Let's get right into it, my dude.
Right into it. So I talked about Power Book 2 earlier. We got somebody that's in the NBA that's trying to live like Tyreek St. Patrick. John
Oh shit.
Morant has been in the news for things other than basketball lately. The Grizzlies star point guard apparently wants to do hood rat things with his friends.
That's funny.
my boy my boy Sticks, is Ja trying to sabotage his career?
If he's I don't think he's intentionally trying to do it, of course, but
Yeah.
he's doing a damn good job of doing it without intentionally doing it because bruh, you just signed a supermax contract with the Grizzlies last year. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? You're taking care of your family. You got your, you know what I'm saying, you got your dad at the games with you, your mom and your sister at the crib, and sometimes at the games too. Like you're 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 a good kid, bro. Like you're a good kid. And I said this to D-Lo earlier in the week. He reminds me of that last rap battle at 8 Mile. You know what I'm saying? Where he was like, his name's Clarence, and Clarence is at home with both parents. They have a real
Yeah.
good marriage. Like that's Ja. That's
Yeah.
literally Ja Morant. Like, why are you out here trying to have this persona of a hood dude whenever you ain't even walked that path not one time in your life? Now, granted, you from South Carolina, and some parts of South Carolina can be, not, can be. Well, every state has that part of town, but
Hmm.
it's like, bro, like you went to a private school, you grew up with both parents. Your dad owns a couple of barbershops. He's worth about $5-6 million himself. So like you had a good life. Why are you hanging out with these guys that are showing you the part of the world that you don't need to see, especially being a professional athlete and a good professional athlete at that? Like, I don't
Hmm.
understand it, bro. I honestly don't understand it, D'Lo. I really
So
don't.
I'm not gonna sit here and act like I don't understand it. Let me say that first, coming from Josh's situation. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not gonna sit here and act like American society or American culture and black culture isn't um enamored or fixated on the depiction of gangster and mob culture, because
100%.
we truly are, evidenced by the well-known movies of Scarface, Godfather, New Jack City,
Paid
TV
in
shows,
full.
Paid in Full, TV shows, Snowfall, Power, shit like
Mm-hmm.
that. I mean, we just enamored with gangster culture, and what happens is it moves itself up and down both American culture, Caucasian culture, Black culture. We all try
Mm-hmm.
to live that lifestyle for a little bit, or at least portray ourselves to be hood, because we always talk about, or not us, but society always talks about what women do to get the attention of men.
Mm-hmm.
Men sometimes, and this to me, we talked about corny earlier, can be kind of corny.
It is
Men
very corny.
sometimes portray themselves to be hood to get the attention of females.
Very
And I
true.
mean, we're all guilty of doing that when we were younger. I'm sure. I know for sure. I wasn't like flashing guns, and I don't even like guns, but wasn't
Yeah.
flashing guns like that. But the clothes I wore, some
Mm-hmm.
of the sayings and how I talked portrayed hood.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I say all that to say is, I'm not going to sit here and act like that's not something that a person of his status or a person of his age could easily get caught up in. What I
True.
will say though is we need to make sure that we are, getting our young Black geniuses, sports or any other area of life. We need to make sure that we aren't having them hustle backwards. And
For
what I
sure.
mean by that is making it and then trying to act like they hard when they work so hard throughout their life, made so many sacrifices throughout their life to get to where they are. Usually
Right.
you fake it until you make it, not you make it and then you fake it. Nah, you don't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I feel like Ja right now, like you said, he might not be doing it intentionally, but unintentionally, he is kind of sabotaging his career.
One
And
hundred
so,
percent. 100
yeah.
percent, man. And it's like this. So I just to give y'all a little bit of a history lesson about myself. So, like I said, Josh from South Carolina, I'm from North Carolina. Me and D-Lo from Fayetteville. Fayetteville is known for not being a good place to live, right?
Hmm.
I grew up
Vietnam.
on Vietnam. So I grew up on the Merc. If anybody been to Fayetteville before, you know what the Merc is. The Merc is not
Hmm.
a good street you want to go down, especially sometimes a day. So the things that Ja Morant is perceiving right now, I've actually seen in live action. Like
Hmm.
playing basketball at Seabrook Park, seeing people get shot, seeing a lot of different things in my life where I had some family members in my life that were ingratiated in a couple of things that they were trying to keep me away from because I was the athlete of the family. So
Hmm.
luckily I had some family members to deter me from moving with them because like, nah, bro, you gonna make it out type of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So what he is portraying, I've actually seen. But I don't
Hmm.
see myself at 37 years old, soon to be 38 in 3 weeks. Thank you, Lord. So I, you don't see myself being about to be 38 trying to portray the things that I've seen in the past because I know that's not right. And I know that he has a good head on his shoulders and he know this shit ain't right either. But
Yep.
for whatever reason, he just feel like he want to have this persona about him. Even like in the games, he's trying to act hard. He almost got into that confrontation with Shannon Sharp when they were, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like, why are you
Hmm.
acting hard? And everybody know this ain't you. People on TV and these analysts are saying like this ain't Ja. But
Right.
like he has this persona about him. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I don't personally understand it. But it's one of those things where, like you said, you're influenced by the environment that you put yourself around. And he grew up in a good environment. Now he's putting himself in a bad environment. And he's starting to see a lot of the different I guess what I'm trying to say is he's starting to see he's ignoring the bad of what he's doing. He's starting to see like the attention that he's getting for being quote unquote thuggish, so to
Hmm.
speak. So and to me, it's just dumb. You're if it was me and I was in John's situation, bro, I'd be trying to stay out of the way. 100%. Like I just got a $200 million contract. Why in the fuck am I on live?
And it's easy to say
That's the
that.
gun. No,
Yeah.
what?
I mean,
I agree. Okay.
yeah.
All right. Okay.
Flashing the
Let me
gun is different. I will say that flashing the gun is different. Like we
fighting a
all know when you
17-year-old
talk
kid
about,
below. Like, come on.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, all that stuff is different though, right? But when you say staying out the way, naturally, that's our personalities. We are stay out the
Yeah,
way
facts.
people.
Yeah,
But for most people, staying out the way just ain't in their nature. Having money or not having money, they just can't stay out the way.
true.
So And how tall is Ja? I don't know off the top of
Six
my head.
three, I think 6'3", 6'4".
6'3". Okay,
Yeah.
6'3". So in the landscape of professional basketball, he's one of the little guys.
Mm-hmm.
He very explosive and all that, but and I'm not defending anything that
Oh, he's
Ja has
6'2", ain't
done. I'm just giving the perspective.
he?
So
Yeah.
in the landscape of basketball, he's one of the little guys.
Mm-hmm.
And we've all heard of the Napoleon complex. You and I are you're taller than Ja. I'm an inch taller than Ja. So
Mm-hmm.
so we've historically on average been some of the taller individuals in society.
Mm-hmm.
But you've heard of the Napoleon complex.
100%.
And so I kind of feel like the success that Ja has gotten, while it's not exactly the Napoleon complex, is kind of the Napoleon complex. He's just
Mm-hmm.
now you said that what thing that let me finish my thought. So
Yeah.
now that he's gotten all of the notoriety, he's gotten the money, he's mm, got to the NBA. I wouldn't say the hard way, but he wasn't necessarily at a top-notch Division 1 school. He was
Mm-hmm.
a second overall pick. Now
Mm-hmm.
it's like, okay, I'm here. It's the same thing we talked about with Antonio Brown, or that I mentioned about Antonio Brown
I
a
remember what you're
couple of
saying.
weeks ago. Is he played the role well enough for as long as he could to, stay under the radar, play well enough to get recognized as a person that deserves XYZ amount of money. He got that contract. Now I can show my ass a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm comfortable. I'm here. Let me do what I need to do. And I hope that's not him, but it just seems like that's what he's moving to now. He's just
Okay. That
spreading
that
his
that
wings out.
that was a good
You know what I'm
analogy
saying?
because it does seem like Ja is moving into that because I remember when we were talking about Antonio Brown, I would say I was contributing to everything to CTE. Like soon as that
Yeah.
moment he got hit by Vontez Burfict is when he went crazy. But you
Yeah.
saying that he was under the radar for so long, he got that bread, then that was his personality the whole time. So you saying that
Yeah.
Ja is kind of like similar to Antonio Brown, where it was like this is who he's been. He just was waiting to unleash that shit.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say necessarily who he's been. I'm just making the comparison of, when you get when the pressures when certain pressures of life are now removed from your life, you
Mm-hmm.
start to move to a different level and start to think about different things that you might not have had access to before.
Mm-hmm. Makes
So
sense.
with Ja, the pressures of how I'm gonna help my mom and dad, and I mean, he made $8 million a year prior to this new contract, but still,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it it wasn't the type of money that he makes now. He went from 8 to 39 or something like that. But the
Mm-hmm.
pressures of how I'm help mom and dad buy this house, or help my family change the trajectory of my family moving forward from here on, that pressures are now going. For sure your family is straight. If I do everything how I'm supposed to do, I know my family's straight for the next couple generations if the money is,
100%.
is spent right or invested right. So
Mhm.
now I don't have to worry about that. Let me go worry about something else. Oh, I wasn't able to do this when I was younger. Let me do this. I mean, you got tattoos. I don't know.
Mhm.
I mama, grandma wasn't allowing none of that when you was in high school, or maybe I
Nah,
can't remember.
nah.
So when you
I
got
didn't
to
get my
college,
first
what
tattoo when I
happened?
was in college. Yeah, I got my first tattoo in
Exactly,
college. Exactly.
exactly. So I mean, and same with me. My dad wasn't allowing none of that, and
Mhm.
now when I got on my own, I made the decisions that I made. I did the things that I wanted to do, but
Mhm.
eventually I got older and saw, oh shit, my dad was right. Maybe I don't need to be doing stuff like this. And I
Mhm.
reverted back to my ways. I mean, Josh's 23 years old. So
Yeah, he's still a young kid.
he's still a young kid, man. So he's gonna make dumb, questionable decisions. It's just the fact that of who he is and the era that he has grown up in. Kids want to share everything that they do
They
nowadays. Kids
overshare 100%.
they overshare. Kids want to do dumb things nowadays. Things that's like, well, we probably did something similar, but not as grand as they're doing now. Everything's
Mhm.
so grand. Everything's a prank. Everything's a joke nowadays. And everything's online nowadays. So
Everything's online.
again, I'm not defending anything that Ja has done,
Mhm.
especially with the pointing the gun at a 17-year-old, fighting a 17-year-old, flashing a gun on Instagram or being with his friends to intimidate the Indiana Pacers
Indiana
staff with
Pacers
with
staff.
guns and lasers on it.
Hmm.
I'm not defending any of that. But
Getting
what
into
I'm
an
saying,
altercation with a mall security guard, like,
yeah, yeah, stuff like that. I can't defend that. But what I'm saying is let's offer him just a little bit of grace, just a little bit,
yeah,
and and see what he does moving forward with this suspension, and if he comes back, I won't say a changed man, but learning from his situations, learning from
yeah.
this situation that has occurred.
I think this is something I call boredom theory.
Hmm.
Sometimes whenever you get bored, you create problems.
Mm,
Like, I ain't got nothing
like
else to
that.
do. You know what I'm saying? Like, so whenever you bored, you try to find something to do, and it just creates controversy. Like, or you have some kind of theory in your head that you just want to unleash. It's just
Yep.
boredom theory. The dude's bored. He got more money than he's ever had in his life. You know what I'm saying? He's never been. He's always been upper class because his dad was worth millions before he even made it to the
See,
league.
that's new to me. I didn't know that.
His dad owns a couple of barbershops down in South Carolina. His dad is worth $6 million on his own. Not
Six
even,
million?
yeah, 6 million.
Oh, sound like you said billion. My bad.
Oh no, no, I said Millie,
Mila.
Millie,
Yeah, yeah.
Milla. So
Okay.
yeah, that's why he was able to go to a private school that wasn't even in the same city that he was raised in or where he lived at. So
Okay.
his dad was taking care of the family. His mom has always been a housewife. Mom was
Yep.
always at home doing her thing. So he was brought up in a good life. But the dude is just bored now. He's a 23-year-old kid who's making $40 million. He got a 5-year, $200 million contract. So he's making $40 million a year now. And like, dude, just bored, bro. And like you said, a the social media age now, and kids want to overshare, and everything is IG live, everything is on TikTok, everything is on social media in general. So now he hanging out with his boys after a loss in the
Right.
club, 5 o'clock in the morning, you going live, flashing guns. Like, why, bro? Why?
Yeah.
First of all, why you ain't sleep? Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. Because
Yeah.
like, but like you said, we're two stay out the way type of cats, and that's obviously not his personality. Like, he wants to be out there. He's got this money now. Not a bad looking kid, so he can be around the women. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Mhm.
but like I said, I think he's gonna figure out how to turn it around. I think he's gonna eventually have a Hall of Fame career if he keeps playing the way he's playing, and if he keeps
Yep.
winning. So I figure out he's gonna. I think he's gonna figure it out. It's just like, bro, like you just doing dumb shit. It's just young dude dumb stuff. Honestly,
Yeah.
because it's
Eh,
like
yeah.
chill, like get away from the people that you're hanging yourself around. Honestly, because I think it's the company he's keeping for real.
I'm glad you went there because that's exactly where I was about to go. I'm not going to let him off the hook though.
Mm-hmm.
While I think I can accredit most of the decisions that he's making to his age and just the era that he's grown up in, I
Mm-hmm.
also think he needs to make sure that he's keeping the right company around him. You know, so and for that reason, I'm glad that it has been caught now and addressed
Mm-hmm.
now rather than later where the now has been no arrest, no one has lost a life. Later could have been him doing time or associated with some person doing time and potentially somebody losing their life. But he definitely needs to surround himself with better people. Jalen
Mm-hmm.
Rose said, I believe it was
It
yesterday
was.
or
Mm-hmm.
last night, he said on NBA Countdown that Ja is the one that controls his life and that
Mm-hmm.
those and it's not those around him. I agree with that, but I think it's more of a team effort. Uh, I
Yep.
think I think Ja needs to understand his status and who he is in this world, not only as a basketball player, but now as an individual. And then that the individuals around him need to understand who he is and what he represents in this world and protect the bag. So the first for someone of his position, I think he needs to be cognizant of that. And
100%.
a good example of this would be a person understanding who they are, and then the team also understanding who they are. When I say the team, I mean the people around him.
Mm-hmm.
Our boy LeBron James.
100%.
LeBron James is a
100%.
perfect example of him understanding at a young age, be it who he is, what he represents, and then the people around him also understanding who he is and what he represents. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Again, 18 years old, understood that he is about to be a high draft pick in the NBA. He wanted to keep his boys around him. So what did he do? He empowered them and gave them opportunities. He spoke this to life a long time ago. I believe he was on Rhapsody the Basement saying we're gonna take over the world doing XYZ. Little do we know, 10, 20 years later, Mav Carter doing big things. Rich
Mm-hmm.
Paul doing big things. Some other members
Mm-hmm.
of his group doing big things. So I feel like the message has been lost, or that blueprint has been lost with some of the younger guys, because every professional athlete has an entourage, and if the
True.
entourage does not know how to secure the bag, and when I say secure the bag, making sure that the person that's bringing in the money and making sure everybody having a good time ain't doing anything stupid. If everybody don't understand that, then you can't be around them.
You
They
can't
can't
be
be
around
around
them.
it. Yeah.
And like you said, man, it's just a product of people always say you're a product of your environment, but you dictate your environment most of the time. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? If your environment is revolved around a bunch of dudes carrying guns, doing drugs or selling drugs or whatever that I ain't saying that's what they're doing, but if that's what you're
Yeah.
seeing around you, then you need to the person of your stature and the person who is like you said is the breadwinner of the group, you can't have that bread go moldy, my boy. You got to get away
100.
from that area that's molding your bread and keep your bread safe and keep your bread. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? But he, like you said, you can't let him off the hook. He did apologize, which is cool. You know what I'm saying? He gonna miss tonight's game and Tuesday's game because he got suspended for these two games for his actions. But you have to keep your environment safe, bro. You got to keep your circle small, and within that circle, you got to have good quality people. Like you said,
Hmm.
LeBron is one of those guys who has had a clean, other than the controversy that people put on him for the things that they don't like, but he ain't
Right.
did nothing wrong. John needs
Right.
to take that
That we
same
know of.
blueprint. Yeah, facts. But
Yeah.
from what I know, his nose is clean.
Right. Right.
From what the public knows, his nose is clean.
Right.
But right now, Ja, up until this past week, or up until from last summer until now, whenever that whole situation happened with the 17-year-old kid and the
Hmm.
whole thing, all of these things for the past almost for like 10 months, his nose was clean up until now. And now all of a sudden
Right.
he wants to get, he's in all this controversy. So it's like, bro, just keep your circle small and keep that circle with a bunch of good people. So that way you can just keep this bread, bro. You got 40 million coming to you for the next 4 years, bro. Why you trying to
Hmm.
fuck it up? Why you
So
trying to
let
mess
me
it up?
ask you this. Let
What
me
up?
ask you this. Do you think because of the type of attention that he has gotten in the last, you said 10 months, 5
Mm-hmm.
months or so, do you think he is now just trying to play into that role a little bit more, lean into it a little bit more, or do you truly think it's the boredom theory that you were talking about
I
earlier?
think it's boredom theory, but you know what? You just reminded me of a comment that you made last week that Dame Dash said it's like kind of like self sabotage a little bit. Maybe you was talking about it last week. You
Yeah.
was like sometimes people put
Kanye.
themselves in these problems to take the attention off of them and let them kind
Yeah.
of chill for a little bit and then sneak back out the back door type of thing.
Yeah.
Like
I
maybe that's what he's doing. I don't know. Like I said, I couldn't do it me myself,
yeah.
but
I
it's one of those things. I think it's boredom theory, bro. I think he's honestly just bored, bro. Think
yeah.
he's just bored and he's doing dumb shit and he just needs to just chill out. You know what I'm saying? That's what I honestly think.
Yeah. I don't think it's necessarily that theory that I was telling you about last week with Dame Dash,
Mhm.
where, you know, high profile celebrities, they get to a status of where they can't do the normal things that they want to do in
Mhm.
life. And so what Dame Dash was saying is that some individuals go through a self-sabotaging or smear campaign
The smear
in
campaign,
order
yeah.
a smear campaign in order to kind of put negative attention for themselves, so much to the point that people get tired of the person or no
Mhm.
longer want to, praise the person as much as they did, and then they can kind of just fall back a little bit. Of course, not go back to their normal life because they're no longer normal. They've been such a high profile celeb. I don't think it's that.
Mhm.
What I think it is I think he is. So I'm trying to give you draw us a comparison of what I'm saying. So you know how when they say a kid growing up, you tell a kid what he is or what he isn't for so long that when he gets
Mhm.
older, he becomes that
It be
person. He becomes what
right.
you say he is or isn't. That's
Mhm.
what I'm feeling like Ja might be doing outside of your boredom theory is
Mhm.
everybody's saying, oh, Ja, he hangs around these type of people. Oh, Ja is such a thug or thug
Mhm.
like that
Mhm.
now he's just living it out. He's just like, oh, y'all want to say I'm a thug? All right, look, I got my gun. All right,
Mhm.
these my dudes that I hang around. What's up? I
Mhm.
just feel it could. I mean, again, I'm not saying this is what he is. I'm just thinking of the scenarios and the complexities of why we're at this point with Ja. Because, like you said, coming into the league, he was a clean cut dude, really athletic. You know, nose clean, all that, and I still think that's who he is. But now
Yeah.
we're at this point where everybody's questioning, well, what's going on with Ja? Is this and
Is
we're
this
just trying
really
to
who
figure
he
out
is? Or yeah,
right, we're
facts.
just trying to figure out who he is.
I believe he is the same guy he was whenever he came into the league. I just feel like you said, he might just be kind of I guess he's trying to he's in a little bit of a rebellious stage, to be honest, because maybe he wasn't able to do these things whenever he was younger. I don't believe he was. So
Right,
his dad kept his nose clean, his mom kept his nose clean, went to a private school, and he went to college and stayed there for a year, and now he's in the league, and it's like, I never got to experience these things that these guys over here are doing. Let me go see what that's like.
right,
You know
and
what
then
I'm
he's
saying?
also in Memphis, bro. I mean,
He's also in Memphis. Exactly.
Memphis
Exactly.
is a tough place to be. So you know, he could probably easily get caught up with the wrong people being at the club or whatever, and now that's a part of his entourage. And you know, sometimes being a leader is hard to tell those that follow you or those that are in your group that you don't want them around anymore. And so he
That's a
could
fact.
also be in that situation too.
That's a fact. That's a fact. So I mean, I think he's gonna turn it around. I think he's gonna eventually be like, you know what, this really ain't for me. And let me get
Hmm.
back to what really matters, and that's the game of basketball. And let me get back to my craft. And y'all my boys, but I can't be out here doing the bullshit no more and flashing. Come on, bro. Like, you
Yeah,
got to be smarter than that. Whenever you're in a position that when he's in a position that he's in, he's got to make better decisions. And right now, he's just not making those decisions. You can contribute it to boredom, you can contribute it to age, you can contribute it to a lot of different things, but he just got to make better decisions moving forward from here on out,
yeah, yeah.
for sure.
So last week, after a clip of someone creating a song using artificial intelligence to sound like Kendrick Lamar surfaced, Grammy Award winning producer Young Guru voiced his concern for the future of music and hip hop. Sticks, what's your thoughts on this AI wave that we're currently in and the state of hip hop and music
Man,
through it?
AI is getting crazy, bro. AI is getting crazy because if you can have a computer program to make you sound like anybody in the world, or you can have a computer program that can draw, you can just give it an idea and it can draw anything in the world. Like, not to mention all the different AI innovations that are coming through with e-commerce and banking and healthcare and transportation, self-driving cars. Like, my concern is,
Mhm.
where is the human race going to be in the next like 50 to 60 years, bro? Because it's like, if we got robots doing everything for us, what the hell we gonna do? You know what I'm saying? How
Right,
we gonna make our money? How we, you know what I'm saying? Like, we need to live and be able to prosper as well as the race itself. But if you replacing us with all these robots and these AIs, where's the place gonna be for me? Like, for
right.
us, for me and D-Lo, we got to be able to do our podcast, bro. I can't have no robot sitting in this seat doing a podcast for me. I
Yeah,
can't have it
yeah,
do
yeah,
it. Like, come on, man.
yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's interesting because technology is evolving, is ever
Yep.
evolving. So it's like, it's one of those things that we can't stop happening, but we have to have some. Hopefully, we will have some kind of what's the word I'm looking for, and not necessarily an end game, because it's never going to stop. But we have to figure out a barrier between us and the AI
Mm.
to be
Hmm.
able to keep the human race moving forward, but also have the AI and the technology help us move forward and help
Yeah.
us do better things. But it seemed like they trying to it seemed like robots gonna take over soon, bro. I don't know what you think.
So, I mean, in regards to what Young Guru said with the post that with the post, um, I tend to agree. I tend to agree with you as well. We have to figure out some type of barrier or some type of, I'm just gonna say, you said it's not gonna be an end game. We will continue to evolve the technology. We as a society, we as a human race will continue to evolve with technology.
Yeah,
Because we got to remember, we created the technology. The technology did not create us.
one hundred
So
percent.
we have to figure out where the stopping point is going to be.
Mhm.
And so once we figure out where that stopping point is going to be, what and where too far is, then we will better understand how the two, humans and technology, artificial intelligence, will be able to intermingle with each other. Because
Coincide
right
with each
now,
other.
that's what the scary part is. The scary
Mhm.
part is we don't know, as you just mentioned, we don't know what role we will play once all of this is fully implemented. Will we be able to ourselves, with our physical body or our physical mind, be able to work and make money for a living, or will we be uh, replaced by all this technology and everybody gonna be living on the street or in the wilderness? So I feel
The
like,
wilderness is crazy.
I'm just saying that's
No,
what
it's
it
just
is, right?
facts,
Yeah, yeah,
facts,
yeah, yeah.
bro.
But so I tend to agree with the one of the lines that Young Guru said in his post
Mhm.
was, "It's not the technology, it's the evil that men do with the technology." That really grabbed my,
100%.
because if right now we're discussing this topic because it's dealing with entertainment, it's
Mhm.
dealing with music, it's dealing with
Mhm.
Kendrick Lamar and
Mhm.
his voice being used by somebody that does not look like him, does not sound like him, and probably does not have the talent. I know does not have the talent that he has to create music, but
Mhm.
because he has an artificial intelligent robot or software, piece of software that can make him sound like Kendrick, it's made news. But it's much bigger than that. And I know we don't really talk about politics, but for me, it's very worrisome because if somebody can do that using a rapper's voice or a singer's voice, what's to stop the evil from using one of our political leaders' voice to either learn country secrets? Not, I mean, when I say our, I don't mean just America, I mean every country in the world.
Mhm.
Get other country secrets to create unnecessary tension and to
Mhm.
also create additional unnecessary wars. What's to stop that? So, I mean, money and power are one of the biggest drivers that we have
100%.
in the world,
Mhm.
and people pursue that, and that's how people pursue. That's what people push for in life. They push for money and power, and
Mhm.
so if they're not able to get it legally, some individuals will try to get it illegally,
Mhm.
and that's where all of the negative comes from, and to me, that's the scary part. Like, right now, it's like, it's worrisome that we might not have a job, and it's worrisome that some of our favorite artists might not be able to create music anymore that we really enjoy.
Mhm.
But to go deeper, it's much deeper than just
It's
music.
deeper than rap.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
deeper than rap.
yeah, it's deeper than rap, 100%. It's deeper than
100.
rap right now.
Yeah, it is. Because it's like if the people who are watching this video right now, if you haven't heard the song that Young Guru made to sound literally sounded just like
That
Kendrick.
wasn't Young Guru though.
Oh,
I
the
don't know
video
who
you
that
sent me?
dude was.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, it
Okay, got you.
wasn't. I don't know who
But
that dude was. Young Guru has worked with Jay Z on multiple albums. Like, he's basically Jay Z's go to guy, other
go to God, I got you.
than Kanye and, well, not Kanye anymore, but Kanye and Just Blaze.
Just Blaze. So,
Yeah,
but the video, but D'Lo sent me
and
the
Timberland.
video earlier in the week, and I was amazed, bro, because it was like some, it's just a normal white guy who's a streamer
Yep.
on Twitch, or he's a streamer. He just does social media, and he does content. He's a content creator, and he plugged Kendra's voice in this software, and he talking through the mic, sounding just like Kendrick Lamar. He wrote down some lyrics and rapped them, and it literally sounded like Kendrick Lamar was singing this song. I saw some when I was doing my research. I saw something else where another streamer was streaming on Twitch, and he had an AI generated software on his computer, and he was not looking at the screen, but his eyes were on the camera. And I
Yeah.
was like, "This is." It's like, bro, like you, you can be doing something. You can be on your phone in a meeting on Zoom or something like that, and you can be on your phone, but it looks like you're looking at the camera, and
And
you
I
can
mean, this
see the
stuff is
skin.
really
It's
trivial,
crazy.
right?
Yeah, it really is.
It's real simplistic things, but that's the scary thing
But
about it.
the grand scheme of things, it's so much larger than that
It's
because,
so much larger than that.
like you said,
It's so much that we
somebody could
don't
use
know.
Joe Biden's voice to, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying, like, or
And
Barack
we've seen
Obama
that.
or a senator or something. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, bro, like, and we have seen that because it was a computer generated Biden thing that I saw online as well. That's
Yeah,
like, yo, like all this AI technology is going crazy right now, bro.
yeah. So I mean, it's just that portion of it is worrisome. That portion of it is scary. The possibilities of political leaders or people that we've chosen in every country to represent us battling it out and it really not being a battle. An example of this would be Dave Chappelle with his quote unquote beef with Cat Williams. So
Mm-hmm.
as the story is, Dave Chappelle was on Twitter and he was browsing through Twitter and Cat Williams said something to him that was out of character.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Come to find out down the line, when Dave Chappelle actually got to see Cat Williams in person, Cat was acting as if nothing was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, come to find out, Cat Williams didn't even have a Twitter handle. He was
Mm-hmm.
talking to somebody fake. And
Right.
so I use that as an example because that's the same thing that could potentially happen with our political leaders. Is that we can have a war going on or some tension caused by somebody that is
Some
not who
random.
it is,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, that's what you want to do, and then you go to talk with a person or you see them in person, it's like, what the hell are you talking about?
Right.
Or worse, a bomb is coming, coming, a missile
Facts.
coming over. It's just crazy,
Exactly.
man. But that's the scary side of it. The
Yeah.
good thing that could come from this is that it pushes the envelope with what type of things that can be done in not just music but all areas of life.
Yeah.
The purpose, the initial thought and purpose for artificial intelligence is to help us to do the tedious processes of life.
Mm-hmm.
You're in sales. Instead of you having to dial every number that you call, artificial intelligence is supposed to say, "Oh, this is the person you want to call. Here, I've dialed the number for you. They're on the call." You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Or leave your message. Or okay, you want to create an email. This is the email that you want to create.
Mm-hmm.
Send it off. Make sure
Right.
proofread it, make sure it's good, send it off. Or as you said, art. You want to draw something? Well, here's a template to start with. Finish the rest.
Right.
Stuff like that. And I mean, again, it gets way deeper than that. These are just
Right.
little surface level applications of artificial intelligence that I'm talking about. So that's a great thing about it, is that it'll help us to do those little tedious processes of life. The
Mm-hmm.
bad thing with that is though that it can displace jobs,
Mm-hmm.
and that's ultimately where the worry comes down
The
the
word
road
comes
is
from.
where
So
do we go from here?
where do we go from here? And so my question is, okay, just to get back into the entertainment and the rap segment, the reason why we're doing this is because of the Kendrick Lamar thing. Do
Yep.
you think rappers will use AI to create their albums for them using their creative voices and that sound that just like them, which in
Hmm.
theory will make music production more faster because all they have to do is write or type the lyrics in and the AI just go ahead and spit it out for
Hmm.
them. Do you think that's what more rappers are gonna? Do you think in the future more rappers are gonna go towards that? Because I know we were talking about Drake last week and him retiring, and we also brought
Hmm.
this up as well, where Drake
Yep.
could possibly just let the AI generate it. If they can generate a voice that sounds just like Drake, all you gotta do is write the lyrics, type them in, give the AI the kind of feel of the music that he wants to produce, it could probably just do it for him. And he can just put out
Hmm.
albums every 2, 3 years, like we said, this semi-retirement that he probably gonna do. And just let
Hmm.
the AI do it for him. Do you foresee more rappers doing that? Possibly?
Yeah. I so initially no, I don't think so. But all it's going to take is for one or two to do it, and then it catch on, or not even catch on. It like the whatever they create. goes ultra viral, gets them a lot of money or something like that, and then yeah, everybody else will do it. This that will remind me of iRobot. So remember in iRobot, the car was self-driving car, but it was going at ultra fast speed,
Mm-hmm.
and if you were to do it manually, you were seen as crazy. So I
Mm-hmm.
think it will come a point in time across all areas of life, not just music. I'm sorry to get off music, but this is
No, you
how we
good.
tie everything in.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, to answer your question, yes, I think everybody will do it. But how it ties in is I think it will come a time where everything we do will be artificially done. Like we won't have any. We'll be there to make sure everything's in line, but
Mm-hmm.
we won't actually physically do anything. Um,
That's crazy to think about.
right, exactly. But it will come a time to where it's widely adopted that the machines do everything,
Mm-hmm.
and if you decide to do it manually, you're going to be the crazy one. Right now,
For
it's
sure.
the flip. It's pretty much the flip. Like it's cool to try it here and there, but for the most part, nah, I want to do it myself. Let
Mm-hmm.
me have the machine help me a little bit, but I want to be the person to finish it.
For
Um,
sure.
and so I think it won't take off initially, but it will take one or two persons to get successful with it, and then everybody's going to do it because it's going to be easy. Then you just like, oh, let me just write something, feed it to the machine, they do everything else.
But
Do
it's
you
like
think it actually sounded like? I mean, do you think
I
it
think
actually
it was
100% sounded like Kendrick?
I wouldn't say 100%, but it was scary close, bro. It was
Yeah,
scary close to sounding just like Kendrick. And that's why I asked the question, because not only just the music, but the holograms out here, bro. The concert's going to not be exist no more because you can just watch a hologram on TV from your couch and you can see Drake, an AI generated hologram of Drake and an AI generated song of Drake.
yep,
You sit here watching not Drake perform this song. You're hearing his lyrics the way he wrote down, but you're hearing the computer perform and sing his songs. And that is
yeah.
crazy to think about to me.
See,
You know
I
what I'm
think a
saying?
little differently though. I mean, not what you just said. I'm in agreement with what you just said. Like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the future of entertainment across the board is going to be no longer are we going to go to arenas to watch entertainment, basketball, anything. It's going
Mm-hmm.
to be we're going we're going to be sitting on our couch watching a hologram or having some type of VR goggles, glasses,
Mm-hmm.
watching the sports. As the NBA released a couple weeks ago, I had this idea too, Sticks, and I did not capitalize on it. But it had
Crazy.
the VR goggles to where you can sit front row at a game that's
Mm-hmm.
actually going on, and with the VR goggles in your own home, be sitting front row at Madison Square Garden, watch the Knicks play the Lakers, whatever the case may be. But I don't think it sounded like Kendrick, but you could definitely, for me, tell it was AI
AI
generated. It
generated.
it,
Yeah.
it sounded it sounded a bit body,
Yeah.
um, like the Whitney Houston one I sent you last
Yeah.
week. Like you could,
Mm-hmm.
it sounded like Whitney, but or yeah, it sounded like
Yeah,
Whitney,
Whitney.
but
It was
you
Whitney.
could
Yeah.
tell like in spots it was AI generated or like
Mm-hmm.
a bot did that. It had
Yeah.
that computer sound to it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and again, this is just the surface, right? This we're just scratching the surface of this type of technology. So, like I said last week, with a couple tweaks, it's going to be scary how close it is and how spot on it is. But I
Yeah.
think there are pockets where you can be like, okay, yeah, that's a computer doing that. That's not really Whitney. Now, to the uninitiated, those that don't really know, they'll be like, damn, that is Kendrick.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to really listen closely.
Yeah, yeah. It was just so scary close, man. But like you said, it's just technology and AI generation is so complex within itself that it could go into different avenues.
Yep,
But it's it's interesting to see. I'm interested to see where this actually goes because man, it's I think that a lot of artists will have fun with it. You know what I'm
hmm,
saying? Especially, the ones who are quote unquote retired, like your Jay-Z's of the world and people like that who haven't really put out albums in a while. Like they do features and this, that, the third. But I think he would capitalize off of some AI generated. Just sit in the crib, write the lyrics down, feed it in, and let it do its job. I think somebody
I
like
think
Jay-Z would be able
differently.
to do it. You think Jay-Z
I
would want
think
to do it himself?
I don't think those older generational rappers or entertainers will really get too involved with it because you got to think most of the music and art movies that's out now
Hmm.
come from the older, like it's either a remake or a sample or
Hmm.
some of the sort from those individuals. So
Agreed.
their music already lives forever.
Hmm.
But the newer generation, these one hit wonders that we've
Hmm.
seen the last 5 years, uh, you know, in 5 years you're gonna be loving hip hop. Those
Yeah.
type of rappers,
Yeah.
they probably the ones that will endorse it and utilize it more because they don't have to do any work now. They'll just have
It's
to
crazy.
write whatever they want to and then say, here, see what it do.
And it's funny you say that because now you got me thinking it probably won't be the actual Drakes or the Jay-Z's, the people who actually have the Kendricks, people who actually have the talent. It's probably going to be a lot of content creators,
Mm-hmm.
the people who ain't really who have entertainment value, who have some talent and who can entertain, but not
Yep.
really rapper kind of talent. And they're probably
Yeah.
going to be the ones to take advantage of it a little bit more. So I see what you're going with that. I can agree with that.
Mm,
I can agree with
yeah,
that.
yeah. Yeah, I
For
mean,
sure.
but we're definitely living in a time where technology is advancing tremendously. Um, I just am interested, like you, with how it will continue and how fast will it be, will it evolve? Because
Hmm.
we're at a point now to where it's scary how fast it's evolving. Because just last year we were
Man, I'm
not
telling you.
talking about AI too much, and now AI is taking over everything. So
Hmm.
only time will tell, I guess.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to see.
Yeah. All right, so Hansel Dominguez, a kid that in just a short time was has gone from street baller to living out his dreams playing a collegiate basketball, has
Hmm.
captured the hearts of many. To those unfamiliar,
Yeah.
Hansel is the kid with one arm that does amazing things with the basketball, and has defied many of the odds that told him that he would not be able to do the things that he's currently doing. So, Sticks, talking about this story, if you were in his shoes, if you were in Hansel's shoes, how would you deal with the adversities that he has had to deal with in his personal life?
Man, it's he's one of the stories that I've been following for a good little minute because I watch a lot of YouTube and his U.S. name is Emmanuel Hansel, and he was a guy who
Hmm.
was brought up in the Dominican Republic, and he lost his arm because he was outside playing and a bunch of center blocks fell on his left arm, and the damage was so crazy that they had to actually cut his arm off. You know what I'm saying? They had to
Hmm.
amputate his arm, but the kid didn't let none of that stop him. He continued to work at basketball because his dad was a basketball player and his dad pushed him towards basketball, and he was good before he lost his arm. But I think he got even better with the hard work that he had to fight through the adversity of losing his arm. I think he got even better when he lost his arm because it was like, yo, like I still want to do this and I got to fight even harder because I know it's going to be something that's going to be holding me back. And a lot of
Hmm.
colleges might not look at me. A lot of schools might, a lot of high school, in high school, they're gonna look at me like I'm some kind of freak or something like that. So he was like, bro, I don't want to be treated differently. I still want to do
Yep.
this full time, and I still want to be the greatest basketball player that I can possibly be. When I tell you this dude is, if y'all have never seen him, go look up Emmanuel Hansel on YouTube and watch his highlight tapes. And he is doing things with one arm that most people can't even do with two.
One hundred
And
percent.
if it were me, I feel like my strive to be great is similar to his. I don't have, but he I would be a person knowing myself if I was to lose my arm and I couldn't play football, if I couldn't throw a football or catch a football or dribble a basketball, I would be hurt, bro. But
Hmm.
I feel like my determination, just like his, would be nah, forget that. I still want to be great, bro. So I think I would still go at it. But I know it's a lot of people who I know would be like, dog, it's over now. It's over now. I
Right.
can't do it. I can't do it no more. So I think him being the guy that he is, he averaged 28 points, 11 boards, and 7 assists in high school with one arm. And now
That's
playing
amazing, bro. That's amazing.
what? It's people who can't even do that with two, bro. It's crazy. Go dunking
Yeah.
on people and shooting threes and drip. Like he can dribble better with one hand than people can dribble. He can dribble better than me. I got two hands, bro. Like,
One hundred
but I
percent.
was never a ball handler. But that dude is amazing. And it's like doing that in high school and now on the collegiate level at Northwestern State University, he's coming into his own on the college level, but he still has that explosiveness. He still has that skill that a lot of people don't even have with two arms, man. So I think, in my situation, I think I still would have fought through it and still tried to be great. But I know it's a lot of people out here who would have lost their arm and just gave up, dog. And he didn't
Yeah,
have that personality. He didn't have that character about him. And I appreciate that. And like he's been an inspiration to a lot of people around the world. And there's a lot
a
of people,
true
a lot of young kids who look up to Emmanuel Hansel, and it's like that he's their favorite basketball player type of. You know what I'm saying? It was
mhm,
crazy how he did that. It really is.
yeah. Yeah, a true inspiration. I mean, I think put me in his situation. I would like to think that I would push through that adversity, push through the obstacles that I may face. But the reality is, we're looking at it from the end portion of it, right? We're not looking
Hmm.
at it from the middle. So if we're taking the Oreo, it's the beginning where he lost his arm to
Hmm.
now where we see him at the college level coming into his own. We're not talking about that cream
The
filling,
cream
right?
and the Miller, right?
The cream in the middle is where the actual story is being told.
Hmm.
And uh, I feel like has battled many obstacles or faced many obstacles to get to where he is now.
Hmm.
And honestly, while I think I am mentally strong, I
Hmm.
don't know if I am that mentally strong to
For
deal
sure.
with some of the things that I don't know for sure what he's dealt with, but that he potentially could have dealt with
Hmm.
during this time of getting to where he is now. Because, not only did he lose his arm, but now he has to deal with all the things that come with losing his arm and still trying to pursue the playing basketball at the level that he wants to play it. So one, he has to now reprogram his mind to dribble with only one hand. He has to learn how to do the same moves that he was doing before with two hands with one. He also has to learn with dealing with the stigma of people, not stigma, but dealing with people looking at him differently now, or even looking
Hmm.
at him funny because he only has one arm,
Hmm.
or maybe some people are super competitive and for him, as we've seen with him, treating him differently because he does have only one arm. So you
Hmm.
know how some people are, oh, he got one arm, I ain't worried about him, he ain't gonna do too much.
Nah,
Then you
facts.
start busting their ass, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, let me
Hold up,
play a
hold
little
up.
bit harder. Right,
Yeah.
right, hold on, wait a minute. So I say all that to say, because I don't know. I would like to think I would be in the same boat as you,
Hmm.
but when you really sit back and think about all that he has to deal with, all of the obstacles that he has to overcome, all of the new processes that he has to learn,
Hmm.
I don't know if I could have handled all that. I would like to think I would, but I don't know if I could have handled all that to be where he is now.
For sure, because me and you, we were good at basketball, but we didn't take it seriously for real. But
Hmm.
going from being able to hold, like I was a quarterback, D-Lo was a receiver. From being able to hold the ball with two hands, throw the ball, to not having a hand and putting it behind your back, and now you got to do everything with one, and trying to throw the
Right.
ball to D-Lo with one arm, and he can't. Like it's not saying
Yeah.
that he couldn't do it, because obviously
Right.
Emmanuel Hans was saying that you can do anything you put your mind to, but
Exactly.
it would be it would be tough for me mentally to say, okay, now I got to do all of this with one hand. I got to throw the ball to D-Lo, who only got one hand. How are we gonna make this work? And
Right.
Emmanuel Hansel was showing that with a little bit of determination, or a lot of bit of determination, you can do
A
whatever the
lot.
heck you want to do. Because he gave I was reading a story, and he gave an example, like when he was in high school, that the coach came up with a rule that anytime you miss a layup in practice, you got to do 10 push-ups. And he
That
ended
was
up,
college.
that was college or was it high school?
Yeah. So the clip was from college.
Clip was from okay. So
Yeah. Yeah.
he goes up and misses a layup in practice, and he didn't want he of course he don't want to be treated differently. So he got down and did one arm push-ups
Hmm.
in practice. And I'm just like, yo, this dude, I can't do one arm push-ups right now because I'm used to doing them with two. So imagine,
Well,
you know what I'm saying? So imagine
yeah.
like having to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
yeah. And
crazy.
we might not be talking about the same thing then, because the
I
clip
thought it
I
was in high
sent you,
school.
the clip I sent you was from college.
Hmm.
So the punishment for whenever they did something wrong was they had to do fingertip push-ups.
Oh,
And
got you.
so they had started that before Hansel got to college or
Hmm.
got to the program. And so the coach unknowingly, just, well, I wouldn't say unknowingly, but just without thinking, continue to do the same punishment if somebody made a mistake. And so, as the clip says, as he said in the clip, once I realized what was about to go down, I said, "Hold on." He said, "Hold on, wait, let's do sprints." And then
Mhm.
Emmanuel was like, "Nah." I mean, Hansel was like, "Nah, we gonna do it the same." And he got down to do it, and he was really struggling, but he continued to try to do it, and
Right.
then that inspired his teammates to help him. And
Got you.
so from there, that's where like the if you look into the the storytelling of certain things is
Mhm.
where the team bonding has starting to explode for the team is Hansel's um, willingness to not be treated differently, but
Mhm.
also to do the things that everybody else is doing, um, is what has made them be who they are. As far as the team has been playing right now, well, their record is pretty
8-2,
decent,
I think.
isn't it?
8-2?
Yeah, so
Mhm.
their record has been pretty decent, and
Mhm.
they're contributing contributing it to Hansel. I can talk
Nah,
every
for
once in
sure.
a while.
So the story I was talking about was I'm looking at the article right now on Calb.com, and it says Emmanuel never wanted to be treated differently. So in high school, the team had a rule: if you miss a layup in practice, you have to do 10 push-ups. And he
Mm,
said, I'm no different from anyone else. I don't need any special treatment. I missed the layup, so I did the push-ups.
yeah,
And but
that's crazy,
you know,
bro.
doing one
Much
arm
respect
push-ups
to
is
him.
hard, bro. And
Yeah,
I know he's had since he was 6, he lost his arm. So now he's 19 now. So he's had
hmm
some training doing push-ups with one arm. But at the same time, like that's still challenging as hell for a 19-year-old kid to do 10 one-arm push-ups. So
yeah,
I mean, he's one of those guys, man, that you can look at for a lot of inspiration. Like you really, the old cliche says you can do anything you put your mind to. That's an old cliche that I've been
that's
hearing
him.
since I was little. That's literally Emmanuel Hansel.
It's
That's
his
literally
picture in the
him.
dictionary.
Yeah, he's just sitting there like, yeah, that's me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So like,
you
but
know what
now
I'm saying?
he's definitely a good kid. Got a good head on his shoulders. He keeps his character close intact, and I think he like I said, he's a lot of little kids growing up. He's a lot of little kids' favorite basketball player. Like you said, he came from street ball, did his thing in high school. Now he on the college level, and I believe he can if he keep doing his thing and go through all 4 years of college at Northwestern and start balling out. I think he can get drafted, bro. I think he
Yeah,
has that much talent. I think he has that much talent to do that. Now, my
I
question
agree
would
with
be:
that.
do you think the NBA will give him that opportunity?
Yeah, I I absolutely think they would give him the opportunity. One, they don't want to be labeled as discriminatory, if
100%.
especially if he's good enough. And then
Mhm.
two, they want that type. They want that
That
story to be
mhm.
in the NBA. They want to be attached to that type of story. As we've seen with the different groups that have been involved in all of the professional sports nowadays.
Mhm.
They want those type of stories because they want to be, especially Adam Silva, he wants to
Yeah,
be inclusive. So
100%.
I think if that is presented, if he's able to, get his, if he's able to obtain or become that type of prospect, he'll definitely get an opportunity to go to the NBA.
He definitely will. I think Adam Silver has been a really good successor to David Stern, because he's done a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I think he would definitely take Emmanuel Hansel with open arms, bro. Like,
hmm
damn, I kind of feel bad saying that, but not gonna lie, I kind of feel bad saying that.
Yeah, yeah,
But he
yeah,
would
yeah,
definitely welcome him with no problem
hmm
into the NBA, especially if he's good enough. He start balling out, go crazy. I definitely think he'll
yeah,
get an opportunity to go pro, and he has that kind of talent. He
yeah,
only averages 7 minutes a game right now, but he's only in his freshman year too. So
hmm
with some time, the boy can go crazy. He definitely can go
yep,
crazy.
yep. All right, so Deion Coach Prime Sanders, is in a brand new controversy because of comments he made about recruiting practices and how he looks at certain positions.
Mhm.
Sticks, what are your thoughts on Coach Prime's comments and this controversy?
I'm kind of on both sides of this
hmm
because coming from where we came from, there's a lot of truth in what he's saying.
hmm
So what he said, what basically in a nutshell, what he said was for certain positions on offense, he'll look at people like if you're looking at an offensive lineman or a quarterback, He wants that kid to come from a 2-parent household, have good grades, dad in his life making him a man and this and the third. But if you're looking at somebody on the defensive side of the ball, he wants somebody to come from the struggle. One mama just out there trying to get it, welfare, this and the third. I'm like, okay. So to be honest, I think Dion said a lot of what coaches won't say, and that's just who Dion. That's just who Dion's character. That's just Dion himself. He's outspoken. He has that personality. He has that charisma, that character about him. He's gonna say what a lot of coaches won't say. I think a lot of coaches in the nation, probably every coach in the nation. I'm gonna go so far as to say every, but I think a lot of coaches have the same mentality where at certain positions you want somebody with a certain type of attitude and a certain type of character to be in that position. So was it wrong what he said? Honestly, yes, because that should have just stayed as a thought, honestly. But do a lot of other coaches do it? 100% they do. So I feel like it's a controversy only because he left HBCU and went to a PWI, and now he's that he has that on his back, which was the first controversy. Then secondly, he's coming out and saying the way his practices are, which a lot of people don't agree with. But if you really think about it, most coaches, they recruit like that. He's just the one. He's just the only one to actually come out and say it. So I can agree to disagree with Dion. Was it wrong? Yes, but do people do it? 100%.
Yeah, you took the word. You took literally everything you said. Everything you said, I was going to say.
Because you come from the coaching space, so maybe you got a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? So do your thing.
Listen,
do your thing.
no. Listen, everything you said, I was going to say. I think he has a target on his back because of from the black community, because of how, and I don't want to make it racy, but because of how he left Jackson State. I think other coaches have a target on his back because of how much of a splash he's made at the Division I level since coming. But 100%, every coaching staff in America, you said you don't want to say every coach, I'll say every coaching staff in America has a method for how they recruit. And for what type of player they recruit at certain positions. I'll give you an example. How many, it might be different now because of the success of Christian McCaffrey, but how many white running backs do you see?
Not too many, bro.
How many white defensive backs do you see?
Not too many, bro.
Exactly. It is a common practice amongst college coaches. I won't say for sure, but they look there first. They say, "Oh, he's a XYZ running back. Probably won't take him." Or, "Oh, he's a 5'8" defensive back or a 5'8" linebacker. Probably won't take him.
Right.
Coaches play off of the law of averages. So the law of averages says if they're this height, this wingspan, this speed, the likeliness of them being able to excel at this position is going to be tremendous.
High. Yeah, facts.
But if they're on the wrong side of the law of averages, which means they're just underneath that, then they have to really excel at one thing that makes them great. On the opposite of that, if they are on the positive side of all of those, they are can't miss person. And so this is probably just something new, a little bit more in depth practice that I'm not familiar with, that maybe is in the college ranks now for how they recruit, or just what Dion thinks. But like you said, it's a little bit of truth to it, because 8 times out of 10, I'll say 6 to 7 times out of 10, a single a boy that comes from a single parent household, single mother household, if he's not a hardcore mama's boy, he got that dog in him.
He got that dog in him. Facts.
Got that dog in him, right? And that's what he wants on the defensive line. But on the flip side of that, offensive linemen, naturally, they have to be smart because they have to know how to pick up certain blitzes. Quarterbacks have to be smart too. That doesn't have anything, to me, that doesn't have anything to do with coming from a single
The family dynamic, yeah.
or yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with the family dynamic, but I guess historically, if you go by statistics, most individuals that excel academically come from two-parent households.
Mhm,
I guess.
mhm.
I
I
don't
guess.
know the truth. I don't know the facts on that, so
The
that's
true
why
stats,
I'm
right.
kinda yeah, that's why I'm kinda, like, hesitant to say that, but,
Mhm.
if I'm going off of what some common knowledge that I know, I think that's the fact that most academic I don't even wanna repeat
So
it,
so
but I think that's
I guess the
basic.
point that I think what Dion was trying to the point he was trying to make in that was a kid that has a mom and a dad in the household to teach him different things about life and about the world would be a lot more a lot less susceptible to the what Ja Morant's going through.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? But he came from,
Yeah.
but I think John Morant, just like I said, I think he's just bored. But he's a
Right.
lot less susceptible to a lot of the influences in the world. He's not looking
Yeah.
for different um he's not looking for a father figure or a mother, or if it's a single dad, he's not looking for a mother figure out somewhere else because he has
Right.
all of that right here at home. So he has a little bit more structure. He has everything he needs at home that he ain't gotta be out somewhere else looking for. But
Right.
so not to say he ain't got that dog in him because he can still have that dog. It's just a
Yeah,
little
well,
bit
it's
more.
personality.
It's a little bit
Yeah.
more cerebral, right?
Right.
Which you need
Yeah.
on the offensive side of the ball. You got to be a little bit more cerebral. But on the defensive side of the ball, you still got to be cerebral, but to a lesser extent because you just trying to hunt and kill on the defensive side, right?
Right.
So
Right.
with that mentality that you had to, you didn't know where your next meal was going to come from. You ain't know, you ain't have a father figure in your life technically, or maybe in that situation, or
Mhm.
you
In
really
the
had
home.
to go, you had to struggle to figure out how you was going to make it through the next day. That's the
Right.
kind of personality that he is portraying, that he is saying that you need on your defensive side of the ball. So it's
Yeah.
like, and it's getting, and just to point out something that Delon was saying earlier, you don't see too many too many white running backs. You don't see too many white defensive linemen. It's getting a little bit different now, but it was at one point you ain't see too many black quarterbacks. So,
Right.
but that's getting
Exactly.
a little bit different now too. So it's like everything is it's ever evolving, man, and it's one of those things where it's a complex situation because you understand what Dion is saying if you come from like a sports background
Mhm.
because
Or if you just in football, well, yeah, sports background, but if you just have been around football in general,
in
you
general.
kind of know the dynamics of it. If you play
Hmm.
high school sports, you definitely know what he's trying to say. And I didn't mean to cut you off, but
No, you're good. You're good.
the arrogance in how he said it,
Yeah,
when
yeah,
he
yeah.
said it, where he said it was like,
Hmm.
ah, prime. I know that's who you are, but
Yeah, man.
yeah, nah, you probably shouldn't have said that.
It just should have stayed a thought, honestly, bro. He should have
Yeah.
but because just you pointed out, you said 100%. I was trying to be modest. I was thinking 100% myself, but every coach in the nation has a method to their madness whenever it comes to recruiting. And you
Hmm.
want certain personalities and certain characteristics and certain positions on that field. And if they ain't got it, they ain't,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? They ain't got it. So, I
Right.
mean, but a lot of this controversy is coming down to the fact that the HBCU community has already had a target on his back when he left Jackson State. And
Hmm.
now he's at a PWI talking about, these different family dynamics and how he recruits and stuff like that. It's a domino effect. One controversy
Hmm.
is going to lead to another because of who he is and how they feel like he did things. And it's gonna cause a problem that really ain't a problem, but I can understand where people are coming from because of what he said and the arrogance in which he said it. It did come off
Yep.
as, "Nah, we don't want him. We want him because he has this." You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
But I
So
mean,
yeah,
the thing with that too, though, and it's the last thing I'll say,
yeah,
is it's not saying so. A lot of the backlashes come from more specifically the quarterback position
one
and
hundred
what
percent.
he looks for, and we seem to think that the stereotype only fits non-black people,
Mhm.
right? So
Agreed.
he said he looks for a two-parent household at quarterbacks. We seem to think, oh well, he's not going to recruit black quarterbacks. That's not the case. And I also feel like it's also saying, it's also not saying, if a person, if a player or recruit doesn't fit that and is very good, he's not going to recruit him. He 100% is going to recruit that person.
Exactly. Exactly.
He's
Exactly.
just saying law of averages says, again, I don't know where he's getting this information from, but what he said, he's basically implying the law of averages says this is the type of person, this is the type of family that produces this type of player that we look for.
And the crazy thing is, if you really dig deep into it, his quarterback, which is his son, grew up most of his life in a two-parent household and had the structure that he needs. So that's not to say that he wouldn't do it.
Mhm.
It's not what you say, it's how you say it. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And
yeah.
like you said, it's one of those things where like, bruh, like it's not that big of a well, it's not that big of a deal to us because we understand it.
Mhm.
But
I can see how it is easily could be
misconstrued.
misconstrued
Hmm.
and taken out of context, or interpreted as another thing, especially if you don't come from that background or if you're just looking for something to catch him on. So
For
what
sure.
I think is he needs to continue to find ways to be who he is, but
Hmm.
also understand that he's not a normal college coach.
Hmm.
He's kind of ruffled some feathers,
Hmm.
and that he needs to, he's going to be heavily scrutinized. So he has to find different ways of being who he is, but not in certain settings.
For sure. For sure. I agree with that.
Yep. All right, my boy Sticks, episode 19 done.
19 is done, my guy.
Yeah,
19 is
yeah,
done,
yes.
man. We're moving to it, man. We getting through it, and man, it's every time we do this every Sunday, it makes me happy, bro. So I
Yeah.
appreciate spending this time with you, my boy. You know what I'm saying? And we get to talk about different topics and different things about the world, and have people actually listen to us. Don't forget to subscribe. You
Don't
better do it.
forget to
Do it. Do
subscribe.
it right now.
Yeah.
Do it
So
now.
man, get out of camera, man. So this has been too complex. Since he started off with too complex, even though we haven't officially made the name change, I'm gonna finish with too complex. This has
Mhm,
been too complex. We hope that you enjoyed today's show. You can find us on all of the major podcast streaming platforms. Make
mhm,
sure that you subscribe. You can also follow us on all of our social media platforms: YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Subscribe there as well.
mhm.
And remember, if it ain't too complex, it ain't complex at
It
all.
ain't complex at all.
We hope that you appreciate today's show. And until next time, salute.
Salute.